In this video, I'm going to show you this Sansevieria snake plant. Actually, it was renamed into Dracaena, but in any case, you know, it's snake plant, and as you can see, we have here 4 flower spikes, and I'm gonna tell you what you need to do or what you can do to make your snake plants bloom. Hi everyone, I'm Anna. I help you grow beautiful and healthy plants and do some gardening so that we feel happier, relaxed, and enjoy life a little bit more. So, I hope the weather will be nice. It's a little bit cloudy, a little bit sunny, but really quick. So, it's very complicated for all of us to have the Sansevieria's snake plants bloom for us in pots. And you can see some controversial information all over the internet that they do not flower in pots. They need to be grown outside or in specific climates. So what I want to tell you is basically, let's see what information is available in general, what tips are there, and let's see if they really match my conditions, because these flowers, for the first time I had them in December last year, and now it's September and it started to bloom again. So the flowers that you see now are still buds, but come on, we have 5 flower spikes. So I want to tell you what's available on the internet. Is it true or not? Do you really need to match all these conditions for your snake plant to flower? And I guess my camera is gonna fall now because it's windy. Please don't fall. It's shaking. Okay, I need to speed up a little bit here. But yes, then I want to give you also my tips, what I did, and how we basically have these results. So maybe you can try the same conditions and see if it will flower for you too. The bees already like the smell of the snake plant. It smells just a little bit. It has this very tasty vanilla smell, but the flowers are not even open yet. They will open up soon. And in the end, actually, at the end of the video, I also want to give you one more very important tip in case you grow them at home, even outside. So, the information all over the internet, they say, let's see, they say, it flowers once a year. Well, it flowered for me last December, now it's September, so I guess, yes, it flowers once a year. And by the way, the first time I only had 3 flower spikes, and I was so busy at that time, pregnant, and you know, all the situations. So I didn't have any video or even a photo from the previous one, but actually I had 2 Sansevierias bloom in December at the same time. One of them was this one, which is actually Mikado. So then they say, they flower when they are root bound. Well, I would say yes, that's true, because this plant is still in this tiny pot. And this is actually the pot that I bought the plant in it many years ago. By many years, I mean 5 years and more. And look at the root bound. Of course it's root bound. Of course I didn't even have time to repot it in a bigger pot. It stays here. To be honest, it feels pretty amazing, so I don't touch it. You know, if your plants grow pretty nicely, don't touch them. I have removed some tops from here just to give to friends and relatives, but other than that, I didn't repot it. It's still in the potting mix that I bought the plant in, so sometimes we don't need to repot it immediately. 5 years, no fertilization or anything, it grows. Then, when exposed to light. So to tell you a little bit about light, these plants, the Sansevierias, they can thrive in light conditions, and also snake plants are one of the plants that are recommended if you don't really have that much sunlight, because they can also grow pretty well in shade. In December, where I was living, now I'm sitting here in my beautiful garden. Of course it's bright and with the sunlight and everything, but at the time it flowered the first time, last December, I was still in an apartment. And just to tell you how much sun we had, it was just from 9 a.m. till 11 a.m. at this corner from just one of the windows, and this plant was not even there. So that's the amount of sun we had in our apartment. So no, that doesn't apply to me. They weren't in bright light, they weren't under sunlight. They were pretty much in shade, I would say. And I even thought that maybe it's so stressful for them that the plant somehow tries to survive by, you know, producing flowers, hopefully seeds later. You know, in nature, that's what they do, right? If some plants, when they are stressed, they will try to reproduce themselves. So I thought maybe that's the case. But now, Now it is in very bright conditions because now this plant is in winter garden, but it is in winter garden starting from July. So since July, August, and beginning of September. So this is basically how it does now. So in 3 months it started to grow this flower spikes. And by the way, I will record another video in a week or so when the flowers open, and I will also include that video on top of this one so that you see how it will look like when the flowers open. The next one, they say they will flower when you grow them outside, outdoors basically. And again, for me it doesn't apply because it was growing in an apartment on the 6th floor. So no, it wasn't even on the balcony. So no, it doesn't apply. So let me tell you now about my conditions, and maybe if you would adjust your conditions to a similar kind of condition or conditions overall, maybe this will also help your snake plants bloom. So number one, I would say the pot. Small, and I didn't repot it. That's, I think, root bound is something that you really need to pay attention to, because if the pot is big, if the roots have space to grow pups, because the pups would grow basically from the soil. The root will continue to grow, and at one point a pup will grow from the soil. Normally it happens when the root grows and it touches the edge of the pot, then a pup will come out. When you take your plant out of the pot, you can notice these things. So I would say yes, they don't like big pots, so keep them in small ones. That's number one. In terms of watering, I think this is also one of the major things that we say, yeah, they don't need watering, but I think that's not really true, because it's a plant, it's growing. Yes, it's a succulent and it has these very thick leaves, and you don't need to water them every day or every 2 days. Again, it's not about the schedule, but the amount of water and the frequency, how often you water it. But it's still a plant, and I think the most important for snake plants is to water them thoroughly, but let them dry completely before the next watering. Also pay attention to the soil, because it needs to be either sandy, or this is not even a sandy soil, it's kind of peat moss, to be honest. That's what we get from, greenhouses, garden centers when we buy plants. Most of them are in peat moss, I think. But again, they should be well drained, and in this case definitely that's the case, because whenever I will water, the water will go off the holes. Well, now you cannot even see the holes, but this is perlite. I put perlite in this plastic pot, so that when the water goes out, I don't need to really dump the water, but the perlite will absorb the water, and then it would give back through the holes of the pot back to the plant basically. In terms of light, I would say yes, they thrive in light conditions rather than shade, but again, it flowered in shade in December, in winter. If you know, in conditions where I live, we don't even have sun outside in winter months. So as for the light, specifically for flowering, I'm not sure. In terms of fertilizing, I didn't fertilize it at all. Maybe once or twice in a year, whenever I remember, and last year was so crazy busy that I spent, I would say, minimum time with my plants just to water, just to keep them alive, but not even cleaning them. Some were so dusty, you can't believe it. Some I had to wash right before recording the video for you. But yeah, that's it. That's that. And what I wanted to say, so one of the things that I would like you to pay attention to when you have the flowers is to put your plant somewhere where it will be very easy to clean the floors. And please don't have any carpet under this plant, because the flowers will be falling once they fade away, and they have sap, very sticky sap. It will be even hard for you to remove the flowers from the leaves of the plant itself, and if they go over your carpet, on your carpet, yeah, you will have a lot more work to do than you would enjoy. Yes, and now the most important tip. If you have pets, if you have kids, you need to know that these plants are a little bit poisonous. Of course, just touching, nothing will happen, but pay attention to your pets and your kids. They should not, of course, bite, chew, digest, ingest the plant, because These are poisonous. They can have starting from rash, all the complications up until vomiting and more serious problems. So be careful. I myself have a baby and I need to understand where to put them so that the baby doesn't chew them. Yes, so be careful with that. Other than that, if you had or have snake plants and you have your own tips on how to help others to also grow them in a way that they will bloom, please write in the comments, because we learn from each other and I'm very curious to know how the situation and conditions differ in your case and still they bloom. Or is it just pure luck? Stay patient about plants and I'll see you in the next one.